Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brian Daniels, and these are my impressions of Starfield. I have played about 30 hours, a little over 30 hours of Starfield. Now, I've been playing this on an Xbox Series X, so of course, my play of the game might be a little bit different. My experience may probably very well be different from those of you playing on a Series S, maybe even playing on a PC. And I've seen some issues of people playing on PC, and I think that absolutely sucks. I think when any game releases, it should be playable on all of the platforms that the game comes out initially on. So for those of you playing on PC, I see you, I hear you, and I'm so sorry that you guys are having all these issues. Everybody should be able to play a game properly, and it should be in working condition the moment that the game releases. But before I get into my impressions of Starfield, I want to welcome you all back to the channel. This is the domain. We do video game reviews, impressions. We give our thoughts on the gaming industry from time to time on here. We also do unboxings. We go to conventions and show off the conventions that we go to and travel to and so much more. So if you could, please subscribe to our channel. We're trying to close in on 1,500 subs. That really helps us out when you do that. And also like the video as well if you do. So, Starfield. This game has been insanely polarizing. It has had people say they really don't like the game. Some people think this game is a 10, which I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But and then there's some people like me who are kind of in between. I think Starfield is a really great game, but I have absolutely played games that are way better than this. Did I expect this game to be some sort of ultra revolutionary game when it came out? Not really. I knew this was a Bethesda game. And if you've ever played a Bethesda game, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, especially this type of Bethesda game. A game that is a deep, decision-making, story-driven, and story-based role-playing game. If you've ever played a Bethesda game, let me remind you, there's Fallout. There are other types of games like this as well, like Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, right? So I know those games will stand the test of time, and I honestly feel like Starfield's going to do this exact same thing. You guys can see I have it paused behind me because I was playing before I started this video. But the bottom line is Starfield does do some new things. And I want to talk about those things because these are things that I really enjoy, like the space combat. I think it's kind of dope that we get space combat in a deep, story-driven, decision-making, decision-impacting game. And I say that because there's another game out there called No Man's Sky. And the one thing, that, if you saw my previous video on this, there's one thing that No Man's Sky does a lot better than Starfield, which is flying into a planet and being able to get into the atmosphere and manually land your ship. Yes, Starfield has quite a lot of loading screens. Thankfully, with the power of SSD technology, these loading screens aren't too terribly long. Now, there are some that are very noticeable, while others are pretty quick. However, yes, there's a lot of loading screens. I don't necessarily like that all that much, but what do you do, right? So, but I like the space combat. That's not something we've had in this type of game, right? This type of game. So I do enjoy the space combat. The space travel, is a little something. I mean, yeah, you can fly to light planets, but it takes like 7 hours or something like that, which I guess is realistic, but who's going to actually want to do that all the time? No one's going to want to do that. Let's be real here. One thing I do enjoy is the star map. I think the star map's really cool. It looks great. It has a very nice visual to it. You can look at the planets, you can scan the planets and find resources and things like that. I think these are things that people aren't really talking too much about, are these things. And so these are the things I really enjoy is gathering resources, building an outpost. I like being able to land on planets and just basically start an outpost almost wherever I want to. Be able to collect resources and become a smuggler and find smuggling routes so I don't get my ship scanned and get in trouble for it or even get arrested and get thrown in jail, right? So I do like that aspect. Another aspect of this game I don't see a lot of people talking about too much in these reviews are the shipbuilding features in this game. I really love the amount of shipbuilding in this game. I have to say, the shipbuilding features, like I said, are some of the best in this game. And I do enjoy the fact that you can go in and customize your ship, and you can move parts, you can choose your own reactor, you can choose your own engines and things like that. You can steal ships and add them to your fleet, which I also think is pretty sweet as well. If you don't like traveling around with the ship you get at the beginning of the game, the Frontier, you can steal ships, you can hail ships, you can hail them in the middle of combat and take their ships or even board them and gather all kinds of treasure and cargo and things like that. I really dig it because, yes, there are other games that do this. Like, Elite Dangerous does this. I've heard people talk about Star Citizen. Well, I've never played that game myself. I know these games do a lot of these better, but those games do not offer a deep, story-driven, choice-based role-playing experience. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Now, Starfield, yes, there's lots of planets to explore. There's a lot of planets in this game. There's thousands. Did this game need thousands of planets? No, I don't think that it needed thousands of planets. And yes, they are all procedurally generated. So, of course, they're not already created, because I feel like that would have took a long time for them to have to manually create 1,000 planets, which, by the way, once again, we didn't need 1,000 planets in this game. I can't say that enough. And yeah, a lot of these planets, when you go to them, they're deserted and they don't have anything on them. And I'm going to say this real quick. I don't expect every planet to have been landed on or have a civilization on, for that matter. So that is something that I didn't expect. But yeah, a lot of these planets just don't have a whole lot. I do think it's pretty annoying that you can't just walk around the whole planet. But then again, it is procedurally generated, so I get like having to leave and click on a different spot and land on it. I understand that. So there is that aspect. Now, let's talk about the story. Now, I haven't finished the main story. This is just an impressions video, right? So I haven't finished the main story. I'm about 4 or 5 quests deep into the main story. I've just been so busy playing all the other quests, and that's something I want to talk about, is play the game. Play the game how you want to play it. Don't listen to another reviewer or other people trying to tell you need to rush through the main. I've had so many people trying to tell me, you should beat the main story. Don't try to do everything. Well, I don't know what happens at the end of this game. People keep talking about that there's a reason why you shouldn't try to do everything. I disagree. Play the game how you want to play it. Don't let anybody else tell you how to play this game. If you want to go guns blazing and that's what you want to do it. If you want to play this game stealthily, do it. If you want to be a smuggling, version of Han Solo in this game, do it. If you want to betray people during your quest, do it. If you want to just be a good guy, do it. Play the game, I can't say this enough, how you want to play it. Don't let anybody else tell you how to do this game. Play how you want. Seriously, because the options here are there's so many things you can do in this game. There's a quest line I'm doing right now where I'm going undercover, and I think it's pretty sick. And I think I'm almost at the end of this quest line. It's a big faction, and yeah, there are factions in this, and there's a lot. And even when I find myself being in the middle of one quest, I feel the pull to want to go do another quest, and I've missed that. People talk about, it's just another Bethesda game. Yeah, but this one doesn't have a whole lot of bugs and glitches. Although, I will say the PC version, as I said before, unfortunately does. But outside of that, the game doesn't have a whole lot of bugs and glitches. But it does have that, I have missed that feel-good pull of a Bethesda RPG. And it does that here again. You can say this is Fallout in space. Sure, it's Fallout in space. But what's wrong with that? Fallout games have been great, except for 76. We don't talk about Fallout 76. But outside of that, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4 have all been really fantastic games. They've had their flaws, yes, but outside of that, they're still great games. People are talking about how this game shouldn't have been a 7. I don't like review scores. I'm going to tell you something. That's why on this channel, you never will see me say a game is a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5, whatever. I am not a fan of review scores. I don't like review numbers because to me, a 7 to me could be a 8 to you. And really, what's the What's the difference between the two? Outside of obviously one being higher than the other, but what do those numbers mean? Well, I don't know. I don't go up to my friends and say, hey guys, did you like tell me about Starfield? And then they tell me, and they say, I don't say, hey, can you give me a score out of 100, like Metacritic or OpenCritic? If you had to rate this game out of 100, what would you give it? Like, I don't tell my friends or ask my friends that. No, I ask my friends, is the game good? And that's all I want to know. So I don't know. I try to keep things simple here on this channel. I'm not gonna give you guys a score or whatever. I'm just gonna let you know if the game is good. And so far, this game has been great. And but this is not my final review. This is not my full review. These are just a few of my impressions of Starfield. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun, making these decisions and roaming the galaxy, if you will. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the game ends, how the main story ends, and go from there. But should you play this game? I'll ask you. I'll answer that. Should you play Starfield? Yes. Play the game. Is it worth at least putting some time into? Yes. Does the game start off a little slow? Yes, because this game has some things it needs to teach you that you don't find in another Bethesda title, right? So yes, this game has some mechanics it's going to teach you. And it's not going to throw them all at you at once, because that could get a little frustrating, a little overwhelming for some people. So go at least try the game. Play it for about 6 to 10 hours. I encourage you to do that. Yeah, the game has a lot to teach you and a lot to show you. Visually, I find this game very visually appealing. I know some people out there are talking about 30 FPS or 60 FPS. Listen, the game is great. It looks great. At least on a console. I cannot speak for a PC. I have not played this game on a PC. So if it doesn't look great, please let me know in the comments below. I'm open to hearing your comments. But outside of that, should you check this game out? Yes. It is on Game Pass. So if anything, the entry fee to check out this massive game is going to at least be better than dropping $70 to $100 on it up front. Try it on Game Pass. If you like it, upgrade to the premium edition if you want to, and just go from there. But I feel like one thing I want to talk about in this too is just how toxic people have got with this game. I've never seen a game. It's been a long time. I think since The Last of Us Part 2 was the last time we saw a game where people got this heated over the game. And there's so much toxicity from my fellow content creators and reviewers. I don't understand it. I mean, it's a game. Games are fun. Play the game you want to play. It's not about who has the better plastic box. I own them all. I have a PS5, I have a Switch, and I have an Xbox Series X. And I love them all. And I play them all for different reasons. And guess what? That's okay. You don't have to defend these companies. These companies don't owe you. You're not. You don't own them. You don't work for them. So why defend them so much? Let people have fun. Let's stop the toxicity in the video game community and just let people enjoy their game. Let people have a fun game. Whether it's on Xbox, whether it's on PlayStation, whether it's on Nintendo, games are fun. And let's be real here. We have been able to eat pretty dang good this year. We have Baldur's Gate 3 coming out just now on the PS5, and it's been out on the PC. We had Zelda come out this year. Diablo 4 came out this year. I mean, come on. We've been eating pretty good as gamers, so we really don't have much to complain about at the end of the day. Anyway, those are my quick impressions, really, of Starfield. Once I finish the game, I do want to give my full review of it right here on the domain, so stay tuned for that. I don't know when that's going to come out. Maybe next week. I've been really putting my time into it. I'm trying not to rush through it, which I wonder how many people who reviewed this game just rushed through it. And maybe that's why some of the scores are the way they are. I don't know. Do I think this game is a 10 out of 10, though? No. I don't feel that this game is a masterpiece. I'll say that right now. I don't see how people rated it as a 10. Could have just been because they got excited over it themselves. But listen, at the end of the day, play the game and enjoy it for what it's worth. All right? Let me know your thoughts on Starfield down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, guys.